Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily story with a chapter from one of my novellas. Before I start today's chapter, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this book and any of my other fiction, then they're all available from all major ebook retailers. You can order the paperback and hardback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore and local library if you requested. Also, if you want the AI generated audiobook, then you can get it from selected audiobook platforms and library systems like Kobo, Spotify, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, Baker & Taylor, Biblioteca and Overdrive. Now, here's today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did writing it.
Chapter 1. The 18th of October 2023. Canterbury, England. 7:30. Even the best private eyes get strange cases at times. Private Eye Bettie English definitely liked the awfully dark morning, as autumn had started to set in properly. She sat on her large black sofa with a wonderful piping hot mug of bitter black coffee in her hand, and she was so looking forward to today. She had the large black TV on in the background, but she had muted it because the news was just talking about a bunch of political scandals that were just getting old by now. Betty liked the darkness outside, and she had the bright white crystal lights on, and Betty had to admit they were certainly the best things she had ever bought herself. The crystals looked so classy expensive, and they really did light up the place. And the cream walls of the living gave room off the glow perfectly, but Betty really did miss the summer because at least when she got up it wasn't pitch black outside. Exactly like it was now. She had given herself the day off of being the president of the British Private Eye Federation, so she could thankfully spend the entire day with her two beautiful children Elizabeth and Harrison, before her boyfriend Detective Graham Adams came home later today. Betty was so excited about seeing and spending the whole day with her kids on a weekday. She had never imagined she would be like that, but she loved her kids, loved her family, and life was just brilliant. The sweet aromas of pancakes, chocolate syrup and caramel sauce filled the air as bangs, sizzling and popping came out of the kitchen. Betty smiled to herself, as her amazing nephew Sean and his boyfriend Harry were cooking up breakfast for everyone. She loved having them live with them. Betty supposed it might have been because Sean's mother kicked him and Harry out after the homophobic attack in June 2022 that left Harry with a brain injury. But now they were both recovered, Betty just loved having them here. Especially when they cooked breakfast for everyone. "Breakfast's almost ready, Auntie," Sean said from the kitchen. "Thanks," Betty said. She was almost tempted to go and wake up the kids, but this was the first time in ages they had slept after 6 am. She had checked on them, and they were just snoring away, so they were okay, and Betty just fully intended to relax and just enjoy the peace and quiet. The news on the TV flashed a little as some breaking news came in. Betty rolled her eyes and unmuted it. She might have well heard about it, in case it was important. A very tall blonde woman with a dangerously thin body appeared on the TV. Betty hated models and reporters being that thin. It did nothing to help women and their body image. Breaking news today from the Home Office. The UK government and Kent Police has confirmed this is the final day for the search of Canterbury Lake, in hope of finding evidence that the murdered 18-year-old girl, Sarah Hill, was killed here. Betty nodded. She had no idea the police were searching a lake in connection with a murder, but she had been busy up in London for the past few weeks trying to figure out how to convince more people to become private eyes and boost membership in the process. "Here you go, Auntie," Sean said, walking in a piping hot plate with 2 waffles on it, with whipped cream, chocolate syrup and caramel sauce on top. The perfect breakfast for private eyes. Betty smiled at Sean and Harry as they both brought in their own breakfasts, in their matching white t-shirt, black jogging bottoms and socks, like they normally did when they didn't have to go to the university to help out doing some research. Betty admired Sean's tasteful pink highlights in his longish blonde hair for a moment, before she just couldn't help but ask about this case on the news. You two have friends down near Canterbury Lake, don't you? Betty asked. Sean nodded. Yeah, and we went to a party there at the weekend. It's massive and the cops have been swarming the lake for days. Betty was really tempted to call Graham to see what he knew, because as she wanted to spend the day with the kids, she would have normally loved a nice big juicy case to sink her teeth into. It would have been amazing fun. You want to investigate? Harry asked. Betty grinned. It would be fun, and come on, a murdered young woman possibly dumped in a lake. Wouldn't that be interesting? What would Dad say? Sean asked. It took Betty a few moments to realize that he was talking about Graham. She was still getting used to him calling Graham Dad and not Uncle or just Graham. She knew that Sean and Harry were basically family, and Sean was legally her son, but it was still taking some getting used to. Betty was about to continue when someone knocked at the door, and Betty just huffed. All she wanted to do was simply eat her pancakes. Betty got up, went over to the front door, and she was surprised to see a very short woman in a business suit standing there, and Graham was behind her. This couldn't be good. Betty had no idea why Graham would come home so early. Betty opened the door, and she smiled at Graham, but he frowned at her. The woman extended her hand. Miss English, my name is Isabella Hill, and we need you to solve the murder of my daughter by 4 p.m. today. Otherwise, Graham said, a rapist and murder walks free forever. And Betty just grinned because that was exactly the sort of case that she wanted.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.